Hey there, crypto traders, checking in after a pretty solid week for the bulls, I should say weekend. And I was anticipating the same as last weekend to just trade sideways and wait for the broader market to open to get some short-term direction. And the bulls just did a slow move up with some coins moving up faster like ETH. And that set the stage. You know, I was looking at that action and it wasn't enough for me to say stocks are going to be bullish on Monday. But it had me thinking, that's a point in favor of the bulls in the stock world. And of course we have a pretty solid bullish day today, and crypto is only benefiting from that. So I was posting in the chat room with the chart guys here on Friday and on Saturday saying, you know, Bitcoin proved something to us in the short term Friday as it held up way better than stocks. Stocks showed a lot of weakness, and we could say that, all right, Bitcoin and the crypto space are holding on relatively bullish heading into the weekend. And now today, this is the kind of candle you get in response to this. In my opinion, this is the crypto space looking at stocks, you know, making it an inch of a move up and saying, all right, we want to keep this bounce going. And then a sigh of relief saying, okay, the dollar's pulling back, stocks are going up, and we're more comfortable being bullish here as well. I'm in a road. It's pouring rain. It's one of those days. So we got the dollar unable to change the daily trend yet. And again, if you are a stocks, gold, crypto, pretty much any of those asset bull, you want to see an inability to do that, and you want to see a bear break of this low 92.70 and further pull back to shape up an equilibrium as opposed to continuation. This Wednesday, we have the FOMC, the dollar, stocks, metals are going to react fairly significantly, I would anticipate, to that on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, something to be paying attention to. The question we have this week, can the dollar bulls confirm a daily trend change or not? If the answer is no, then bulls of all our assets are happy. If the answer is yes, then bulls need to be cautious. So Bitcoin continuing its bounce, getting over the daily 12-period exponential resistance. If we zoom out to the weekly time frame, it's a weekly inside bar bull break. Anything under $12,086 is a weekly higher low. If you've been following, we've been pointing out two long-term narratives. The 2-month equilibrium, which would lead to a tightening range into 2021, or the monthly bull flag. And that monthly bull flag is still on the table. So keep an eye out for that. What we would need to see is a more convincing daily trend change back to the bulls. You could argue and say, that's a little higher low and higher high. Yes, that is true, but it's not a very convincing daily trend change for me. Essentially, what we need to see is a weekly trend change. Bulls are hoping for a big enough bounce to create weekly space for a higher low to form, and then change that weekly trend. And a weekly trend change back to the bulls will absolutely increase the odds of a monthly bull flag fairly significantly. So the question that we have for the next couple weeks, can the bulls bounce significantly enough to create enough space to form a weekly higher low once this move tops out? Bitcoin dominance chart is holding the low. We have a tightening range here. Pretty much 58.79 is the low, 62 is the high. We held a higher low by about 20 cents, and now we're looking at anything under 62.01 to give us a lower high. Entirely possible we stay in this tightening sideways equilibrium for another few weeks. ETH much stronger than Bitcoin on the bounce, but not as strong today. And that's showing us that Bitcoin dominance chart where into the weekend and through the weekend, ETH moved up faster with a much more significant bounce. But now today it's Bitcoin's turn as ETH is a daily inside bar and Bitcoin's heading higher high. So what ETH wants to see, I'm viewing this as our high, low of the dump, lower high was set, and now we're looking at the higher low trying to form very quickly at 353, and the bulls would then have to break 390.41 to call this a little daily bull flag. Bigger picture for ETH, weekly time frame, anything under 489 is just a weekly lower high, and we anticipate that is the more likely scenario on this weekly bounce as opposed to just a straight V-shaped higher high move. ETH BTC, also in a tightening daily range, high, low, lower high. If the bears get some more follow through, it'll be your standard equilibrium that will likely take until next week for us to see some clarity on the direction that it is going to break. So certainly want to be watching this as well. That's going to be a good equilibrium. If we drop down towards 34, it'll be a convincing rejection, or a convincing lower high, I should say, and then we'll look for the higher low compared to 3122 from there. Link USD. So Link is struggling to get bounce follow through. We've got our high of 1340, 1329, 1325, and it was a nice 12-hour equilibrium. Is that still intact? No, we got a bear break. So resistance, failed to break it, double top by 4 pennies, and then a break of $12 support. That bear break didn't see a ton of follow through, 3% plus, but it's showing us the inability to break resistance. So the resistance levels are very clear at this point, and I would call anything above 1107 a daily high or low, but not as strong as Bitcoin currently is, seeing that clear leg up. Bigger picture, we are looking for a weekly lower high inside bar last week, and if another one forms this week, we know it's going to be extremely tight. If the inside bar breaks bullish, we know to be looking for a weekly lower high compared to $20. But we are building a base, trying to set that higher low with weekly 12-period exponential support. BNB has been a standout big bull. And we had that bull break of the high of this COVID bounce to this point, and then we blew through it to another 15% plus. Now we're topping out a little bit, the 4-hour, 12-period exponential support being tested. It's been a great guide recently. Anything above $29 is a higher low. Are we oversold? 15-minute is just getting there. 5-minute is pretty oversold. So there is a potential bottom fishing play for the 4-hour higher low. One reason I personally would not take that trade is just because the daily chart is so extended over the last week and a half. So 4-hour is nice and clear for that short term, and we'll see if the bulls are able to keep that higher low pattern. YFI USDT, so trying for a daily higher low to be set after a new all-time high, and that higher low is 32,500. Daily inside bar today. If the inside bar breaks bullish, our new daily higher low is set. What I want to highlight here is our back burner trades. And if you don't know what that is, again, I put out a video on our YouTube channel. Just Google back burner chart guys, and this video will come up. But it's after a massive bull move, watching the first 5-minute oversold conditions and then first hourly oversold conditions. Here's your all-time high. Here's your first 5-minute oversold conditions. And look at this beautiful bounce and beautiful example, 6% bounce on first 5-minute oversold. What do you do from there? You zoom out and you wait for first hourly oversold. There's our first hourly oversold and a big bounce, 29% off of that. So again, when you are coming off, ideally, blue sky breakout, first 5-minute and first hourly, if there's no news in play, generally will give you solid bounces. XRP USD, daily 12-period exponential resistance, still not a very convincing bounce at all at this point. The bulls would have to get over 253 to start to make it more convincing. The 3-day time frame certainly still looks like a bear flag. Bull volume is non-existent, and we're not really seeing bulls prove anything to us in the short term, and that's the case for LTC as well. Trying to change the daily trend with a higher low and higher high, but again, these are the weaker coins comparative to Bitcoin. We have stronger coins that are comparative to Bitcoin, so you're watching these names, in my opinion, only if you want to be shorting. Otherwise, play the stronger names bullish, play the weaker names bearish. So I hope you're well. We have the bulls in control. S&P 500 might as well check in. The futures chart is giving us a 12-hour tightening range. We have our low of the dump. We have our high of the initial bounce attempt. The low of Friday held support just barely into the end of the day. And now we're watching, are we going to set a 12-hour lower high and just trade in a tightening range, potentially into Wednesday FOMC, which is entirely possible. I need to see the hourly uptrend lost for a 12-hour lower high to be set. But again, if you want a complete picture as to what's going on in the crypto space as a trader, you need to be following the dollar, metals, and stocks, and that's only going to help you improve your charting and technical analysis ability. The more charts you look at, the better. I hope you have a good day. Don't forget to do 12 good things. This fig's pushing 8 feet tall, about a year since it's been in the ground now. Got my first figs from the ones in front of the house. And it's clear that the plants are loving this time of year for putting on some significant growth. Some more weeds. The greenhouse is ready for some fall crops. I'll do a bunch of greens in here and some radishes. And it's still a little bit too hot in the daytime, but another week or two and I will plant some seeds So it's not edible. There's a bunch of birds and other varmint that eat it, but one thing that pokeberry is good for, dyeing your skin. The hard part's knowing when to stop.